Let's welcome in Republican strategist and former Trump campaign state chair in Delaware, Rob Arlett, as well as Republican strategist and managing director at Nestpoint, John Thomas. And of course, we're joined in the studio by our special guests, Newsmax contributor Deneen Borelli and Newsmax contributor Dr. Tom Borelli.
Good morning.
Welcome, guys.
Thanks.
Good morning.
So, Rob, the left is calling the indictment of James Comey political retribution. What's your reaction?
Of course. Isn't that what it is? Because how could they ever actually lie? I think it's comical. We all knew that they lied. They all knew that they lied. I knew it back in 2016 when I was the state chair, all about President Trump. So my point is, when does somebody raise that right hand, and when does it actually mean something? When does it actually mean something? And I think we have to remember what political guys, folks, Jim Comey. When are they going to be held accountable? The American people want accountability and transparency in their government. I'm all for it.
Yeah, you're right, Rob. It is about accountability. And we do know that President Trump, he's not far from where you are on this issue, because he reacted on Truth Social on Thursday saying, in part, quote, "Justice in America, one of the worst human beings this country has ever been exposed to is James Comey." Today, he was indicted by a grand jury on 2 felony counts, and the president goes on to say he has been so bad for our country for so long, and it is now at the beginning of being held responsible for his crimes against our nation. So, John, my question to you, what do you make of the president's comments here?
I think he's spot on, and accountability is the answer. And the reason we need accountability is, one, what James Comey did was wrong and illegal. And secondly, what James Comey and the Democrats have been doing for the better part, quite frankly, of a decade and a half has been damaging and destroying the credibility of these agencies like the FBI, the CIA, the DOJ. And one of the ways that leaders like Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and Donald Trump restore the public's trust in these agencies is to hold these bad actors accountable. It's to say, when somebody screws up, somebody breaks the law, they will be held accountable. You can trust your government to do the right thing. Trust needs to be rebuilt, and you do it one brick at a time, and this is how you do it.
That's exactly right. Well, Deneen, we've got a video here, James Comey, with his response. Let's take a listen and get your response.
We will not live on our knees, and you shouldn't either. Somebody that I love dearly recently said that fear is the tool of a tyrant, and she's right. But I'm not afraid. I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent. So let's have a trial.
Well, Deneen, you convinced? Is he innocent?
To keep it clean, this guy is certifiable. That's my opinion here. What he has gotten away with is just off the charts. Thank goodness they came into under the deadline with the statute of limitations. But the really bad part about all of this is the media, the liberal media, and how they ran with any and everything this guy said. And it swayed voters and public opinion, and he really tried to damage Trump in more ways than one.
And damage those who worked for Trump.
Right.
It became punitive to be part of the president's team.
Absolutely.
You were fearing an indictment yourself,
Good
right?
point. Good point.
Disturbing new details on the suspect in the Dallas ICE shooting that left 1 detainee dead and 2 others wounded. The suspect leaving behind evidence that he was anti-ICE and allegedly trying to target ICE officers, not these detainees. Right? And
the FBI is also saying it looks like he studied other high-profile acts of violence, including Charlie Kirk's murderer, Rob. Talk to me about how Donald Trump's plan to curb the growing level of political violence in this country. How is that going, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, the fact is he's actually acknowledged that there's bad criminals in this country, right? Democrats seem to have a hard time doing just that. So it's law and order. And we're on international TV often, and I always quote the fact that America is a country of law and order. And I'm going to say here on Newsmax, are we or are we not? If we are, let's just enforce the law. It's not rocket science. Anybody who supports anybody other than doing that is not fit for office. And just in my humble opinion.
well, Dr. Tom, what role do you think online culture plays in
Good
this?
point.
Well, Betsy, it's not only online culture. How about Democrats out there calling out ICE all the time? Governor Gavin Newsom wants to make sure they have their masks removed so they could be identified. How many times have Democrats and the left-wing media called them Nazis and Gestapo tactics? I mean, this is outrageous. This is all a consequence of Democrats and their allies in the media, as well as social media, amplifying all that negative information against law enforcement officials who are doing their job, because that's the laws on the books. If Democrats want to change the laws on the books, if they want to we want the pro-alien act and have all illegals come in our country, go for it. But they're going after ICE instead of themselves.
Yeah, you got to go win elections if you want to do that. And that's where they're having problems. But, John, you know, it has been reported, to Dr. Tom's point, that left-wing terror attacks, they've reached a record high in 2025. You know, the left and the right are arguing about this, but to me, the statistics are pretty clear. This seems to be a left-wing issue that they're not willing to address and deal with. What are your thoughts?
And that's the elephant in the room here, is it's left-wing extremists. So we've got to focus on rooting out the left-wing extremism. I think President Trump is doing it right when his administration says they're going to go after the NGOs that fund these organizations, that inspire these radical leftists. And Trump's also doing something right rhetorically, which is, you saw it at Charlie Kirk's funeral, is he's showing these radical leftists that you're not going to achieve your goal when you try to hurt law enforcement officers or people who are advocating for debate and free speech. In fact, their cause, our cause, only gets stronger. So I think it's that two-pronged approach. But Democrats have to be held accountable, and their funding mechanism has to be dismantled so that we can start to strip away the groups that prop up these extremists.
And don't forget, these ICE agents, they have targets on their backs. The liberal loons, the media, the mob, they're trying to target them and their family members. They can't even live at their own home in some cases because they're concerned about their families being attacked as well.
Yeah, and that should not be the case for people that are putting their lives on the line. I mean, and I want to shift gears a little bit, because we know we are quickly approaching the September 30th deadline to pass a government funding bill. Now, President Trump is reportedly going to meet with congressional leaders on both sides tomorrow. Rob, do you think the president can pull this off? Then I'll go to you, Tom, as well for the same question.
Let's hope so. I mean, at the end of the day, to be honest, I'm a fan of shutting down the government. I really am. I think the American people are so fed up with the corruption and the collusion and the cover-ups in D.C. Shut them down. Let them figure out how to have a good budget, like everybody else has to do so in America. So, you know, I don't think it's a negative for me. I say do it. Shut it down and let the blame happen.
I agree with Rob. Don't we're being bribed. We're being held hostage to this. They want $1.5 billion.
Yeah, for illegal aliens, right, Dr. Tom?
Yeah, that's right.
They want
healthcare for illegal aliens. What could be wrong with that?
Right.
Shut it down and let Trump get rid of all the other employees in the government that he has facing the unemployment line. There's way too many federal government employees. We don't need it. Let's use the shutdown to get rid of them.
John, you think there are any concessions that the president will make here? I mean, what are you expecting to see from these meetings ultimately? The president, obviously, the party that's in charge often gets blamed for the shutdown, and the longer they go, the fewer people that actually are on board with the shutdown often.
Well, I think the president, this is where he actually is at his best. I mean, he's a master negotiator. He has the cards here. You saw a couple days ago, it was reported that Chuck Schumer came back begging to meet with Trump again. Schumer overplayed his hand. The president wasn't blinking. I trust the president will come to the right conclusion here. Even if it requires shutting down the government, he's not going to give an inch. And that's the right thing here. We can't let the Democrats take advantage of a political opportunity, which would be perhaps shift in public opinion against the party in power, just so that they can get funding for illegals and all these horrible policies. We've come too far. I know President Trump will do the right thing.
Yeah, and let's face it, we can't afford another $1.5 trillion in debt.
We don't have it.
We don't have it, and our kids don't have it, and our grandkids don't have it either.
Amen. Well, Rob Arlett, John Thomas, thanks for joining us this morning. We'll see you back next hour. And, of course, Dr. Tom.